Late night talking under moon's glow. Charles and Melendia got the flow.
Hey, what's up, fam?
What's up, fam?
Hey, just keeping it real with Charles and
Melendia.
Yep,
So welcome to Thursday's Dose.
Thursday's dose.
Yes. And we want to talk to y'all about the battle of the sexes.
The what?
The battle, they say, right?
Why we got a battle? That's the thing.
Because that's kind of what happens in this society. For some reason, it's kind of originated where the sexes, the males and the females, have to battle.
But in exploring the history, I see that goes way back to the 17th, I think, century.
Really?
It went back a ways. So,
wow. And I wonder what made that happen like that, right?
But I kind of think it goes back earlier than that.
Earlier than that.
Think about Adam and Eve in the garden.
So, was there a battle of the sexes then?
I think, this is my personal opinion, I think that with Adam and Eve in the garden, God gave him instructions to, the fruit, not to eat it. And I think when Eve approached him, that was the start of the conflict of the sexes.
But was it a battle?
Well,
was it really a battle, or just Adam just caved in?
It was a conflict there, and I think that Adam, we don't know what happened the night before, and he probably was thinking about that. Now, if I don't take this, then I may not get another good night like last night.
So here he go internalizing that,
and then he probably just say, "Hey, girl, give it here."
No, see, we don't know, right?
Oh no, we don't know.
But we
I'm
know
just speculating.
It stemmed from some scenarios way back.
Sure.
It started way, way back. When there used to be where women battled, and they talked about this in one of the movies. What is The Color Purple? About the dresses and the pants. Remember, she made the pants and stuff like that for the women and for the men. Right. But it was a battle of, what is it, seniority?
I do remember there was a thing there in that movie, but I'm not really feeling the full effect of what was going on there.
I don't either, but I just think there was some kind of battle of the sexes.
Sure, definitely. And I think too, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I think that, you hear the term that it goes back to the early 20th century. So I'm talking about the 20s, the 30s they talk about. Mm-hmm. But I've heard some things about, like I say, the 17th century with whatever battles are. And I think it was either tug of war with men and women. It's what I've heard, something. But I think to a degree we have created a tug of war, and even with like we've done that too. And society has done that over the years. So, but what came popular was in the 1970s.
Yeah.
When there was a tennis match between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. Matter of fact, we had been talking about doing this subject here a few months ago. And I just saw the other day that there's a movie about this very tennis match that's coming back again. What is it called? Battle of the Sexes. Yes. So
we know that it's so relevant still today.
Yeah, right.
But it's misconstrued. But we kind of want to talk about the history of it, so we have an understanding of where it actually stemmed from. I mean, It was kind of like a shift from lighthearted rivalry, to deep culture tension between men and women. Mm-hmm. So there's some history.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I say, it's coming back full circle because the movie is going to be released soon, and that was again between Billie Jean King and also Bobby Riggs. So with that, and I think society played it, and they played it very big, and we're still there today. Even you see books that were written, to show the differences between this and that and that. The one is men are from Bam, Venus, and women are from
Earth,
this
something
place.
like that.
So we've sort of played on that. But some of the root causes of the gender divide, what are some of those causes? Number one, we look in society today, and even the difference that we have, and we see those differences. Even from childhood, we notice the differences there. You got, that, whatever. I mean, I remember going through as a kid, like, oh, you're, and we explored how different we were as kids. And I think, again, that continues on.
Yeah, and what else?
Well, we look at even how we express ourselves emotionally. I mean, the saying goes that women, we speak how we feel, we share our emotions, but what do men do? They suppress their emotions. And that I mean, to be real as a man, that's a true statement. A lot of times we do suppress because you ask a man, "What's going on?" He says, "Well, no, I'm good. I got it. I got it." And a woman, oh no.
Yeah, we definitely will express how we feel,
Sure.
and it comes even when it deals with leadership versus submission confusion.
Oh, the S word.
The S word, submission.
Yeah, that one. That's a whole different story, right?
Yeah,
Then we
so
go
I
ahead.
mean, if we got it right, leadership and submission is a blessed thing.
Sure, absolutely.
But then, what causes the root gender divide is when people don't understand leadership
Sure.
and submission. And it becomes very confusing
Right.
because people tend to get in their feelings about it.
Well, and I can see problems with that because some all leaders are not quote good leaders.
That's right.
So sometimes people they more or less overexert power. People in leadership. Oh, we see that often.
Often.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, and even people being under submission, a lot of times don't want to submit. So there's a rebellion in submission. So it does cause confusion.
Yes, yes, it does. And then there's unhealed wounds.
Okay.
Unhealed wounds and that are projected onto our partners.
Oh wow. Yeah, we've spoken of several things there. Yeah, definitely some hurts that are never healed.
Yes, absolutely. So we know that with that impacts marriages and relationships today.
Oh sure. Right. So the thing about it, just like we talked a few weeks ago about not comparing, or making comparisons. And we say those, according to the scripture that says, they that compare themselves among themselves are not wise.
Right.
So we have to understand each other. And I think this is a part, and I think this is the root cause when it comes down to racism, sexism, and most prejudices that exist. The fact that because we don't understand whether another race of people, another ethnicity, because we don't understand them, a lot of times we either compete or we turn to hate or dislike.
Right.
So the thing is, because love is not always about winning in the relationship too. It's about connecting.
Yeah. So some of the impacts on marriage today, as we say, is one, lack of empathy and emotional understanding. And we have fallen into that guilty rim of doing that to each other.
Yeah. Right.
As well. We in our struggle for, and I don't know if it's so much a power or the struggle to be heard or struggle of feeling that we're not being heard. So we tend to come back in a certain way because we don't feel that we have the empathy or the emotional understanding, especially as women, because we feel like when I'm talking to you, I just need you to hear me. I'm not expecting you to resolve what I'm talking about.
Say that again.
What you saying? As women, we don't necessarily need you to solve the problem.
Oh Lord.
We need you to listen with understanding and have some emotion about what we have, empathy about what I'm talking about. Because, they kind of want to get to the end of the story and we're trying to share. That's not to say that men are not like that too, but certain things like this can impact marriages and relationships today.
Sure. Well, I would go with you on that, but I think too. I know we've been told that, and I will save this probably for another conversation,
Mm.
and I won't challenge you on it
I'm
this
not.
week.
I'm ready.
Okay, but
I'm ready.
but I do feel and I agree as far as the lack of empathy. I think empathy is what's missing in a lot of our lives. Now I know there was a certain person that I would say popular person that made statements about empathy, like they didn't care for empathy or
Mm.
didn't. We've got to be empathetic about other people because the God that created us has empathy, to a degree.
Yeah.
So we have to. He says he feels our pain, even the Spirit of God, feeling the pain that we deal with. So again, and two, just like you're saying, that women want to be heard, and I know it's quick. It's common. We can go to a place of where we start to blame the genders, and we say, instead of us working together, and you hear things like, "Oh boy, a woman don't think like a man," and then you hear things like, "Boy, I tell you, man, no, they slow, they do this, that, and that." See, those things are the things that keep us divided and keep us battling to that degree because we think that our sex is the one, that's it. But if we look at some things there, how did we get here? How did the sexes get here from the beginning? How did they?
Male and female, God created.
And it's teamwork, not blaming.
Right, right. And what causes that too is when we shut down our communication.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
we just and I have fallen into that trap at times. I'll get
We all have.
annoyed, frustrated, to whatever it may have happened. And I'll just shut down.
Can
And
I say? I'm sorry. Can I say something now?
What?
You look beautiful today.
Aw. That
I was looking at you, and I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to divert anything, any attention. But go ahead about the communication shutdown, my love.
yeah. I just
At least I didn't have the food. You know how they do
Yeah.
it. No,
Oh.
you go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That could have drew me too.
Forgive me.
But
Hey, go ahead.
yeah, sometimes we just totally shut down, and that impacts relationships and marriages, to the highest level. Because how are you going to rectify anything if nobody want to talk about it?
Sure.
And we
Right.
do know there's times you might need to cease for a
Yeah.
minute.
And we've talked about
Yeah,
that. Yeah, definitely. And that with agreement, and just say, hey, look, let's go
Let's
ahead. We'll
come
pick
back to
this up
this.
when, whatever time tomorrow or later, let's pick it up again. Let's both get time to chill out, to cool out, a little bit, and we come back with a clear head.
Yeah, but
So,
communication, just intentionally communication shut down, that's a big no-no. Got to impact
Definitely.
relationships and marriages.
Absolutely. And then two, something we talked about it, and we talked last week. I know it was co-parenting, and one of the things we said about being competitive, and even in the comparing message the week prior, that we've
Right.
got to not do that because it's easy to bring a competitive spirit in a unified or supposed to be a unified relationship where instead of us being in unity or in team player, now we brought in the spirit of competition. So if I told you I love you and you say what?
I love you too. Show it.
No, what do people say? A lot of times, I love you more.
Oh,
What I'm
okay,
saying?
I was
Now
sure
we're
where you was
competing
going
with
with
our
that.
love. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha,
you probably,
gotcha.
people do that. I love you more. No, I love you more.
Yeah. Gotcha.
What I'm saying. No, that's in jazz, but definitely. Go ahead.
And then I guess one other one that we can say emotional fatigue. How
Okay.
would you identify that?
Emotional fatigue. Oh.
That's to me, because fatigue is you're tired.
I think
You're just worn out.
especially if a person has experienced a lot of, I would say it has to be negative emotions that you're feeling, because who would be, like, I'm happy and I'm just fatigued with being happy. No, usually that's a negative emotion that you're
Exactly.
dealing with, whatever that is,
Mhm.
yeah. I would say.
That So you're missing something. I'm just worn out of not getting what's needed.
Yeah.
Which is right with the unmet needs. So you get complacent with that. And then the devil steps in, because if you're not getting what you need in your relationship, that devil opens up an opportunity for you to feel
solutions. Right.
And
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the right solution.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm saying you're looking for, how do I get the need?
Right.
And that's the thing. Yeah, definitely. If the devil is help, we know it's not a good solution. Yeah, exactly. So one thing about it, as far as gender is concerned, I mean, we talked about the battle of the sexes, and we know that I know for sure that my wife is built different than me. I look at her and I see parts that I don't have,
Thankful.
but I do have. I mean, let's just be real about it. But the thing about it doesn't mean we have to be enemies, because of that.
Right.
Again, we talked about team spirit. We ought to be, team players on the same team. So the real issue comes here is that we are competing, or we are misunderstanding each other. And that's the thing. And we've got to be there to where we understand. And I think that's been a great divide for years, where men and women just don't understand the makeup of each other.
Yeah. And by doing that, you want to you need to replace stereotypes
Okay.
with empathy.
Okay.
As we said before about empathy, but replace that
Right. Okay.
with empathy.
And usually, I guess, when the misunderstanding comes in, one of the things is that there is, you can say, a pride and ego thing that happens when we figure our sex is the superior sex. Because if you listen to, let's just take the music industry, for instance. Who was it? Who run the world?
My girl, though.
See, come on, man.
But I understand.
I'm just saying, you understand her
stereotype.
point.
That's a stereotype.
It is.
Because we need each other. Come on now.
Right. I mean, and even it's a man world.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest about it. But these are the things that's happening. These are the things that feed where we are.
Yeah.
But like I say, God created man, first of all, in his image. And he created the woman from the man. Right. So the thing about it, and we, again, how close can you be if he took the rib and the flesh, as it says, because he didn't only say the bone of my bone, he said the flesh of my flesh. So the Lord got some bone and some flesh. And so that's the thing. We got to understand that. And we need to be not sympathetic, but empathetic of it, to know that you come out of the man. Right. And we need to deal accordingly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And start asking the question when you're going through stuff like that. Like, am I really debating or fighting my spouse or the stereotype?
Okay.
Is it actually him or her? Or is it what I've grown up to hear?
Sure. Right.
That I rule the world, or it's a man's world and you can't tell me what to do, or I can do this all by myself. Is it the stereotype that we're actually battling? And more likely it is.
Yeah. And we hear more and more of that, because when you hear things like, how does it go? Think like a man, act like a woman.
I don't want to.
I want you to think like a woman. I want you to act like one. Okay. That ain't happening here, Steve. So, and that's the thing. So that's how we gotta do things. Everything that's said out there ain't something that makes godly sense.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
And I mean, where you from? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I am from Baltimore.
No, men are from.
I'm from Baltimore.
All right, go ahead, man. All right. So just remember one thing, that we are a partnership, and that our partnership should actually prevail over any power struggles that we may have between genders.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's like, why do men, you have to think about, why do men and women seem to always be on the opposite sides? Well, that's, one,
Go ahead.
because we think differently.
Does that mean that we ought to be on
No,
opposite
not
side?
necessarily.
Because we think
but
that,
we may think differently doesn't necessarily mean that we're on the opposing side. Now, I may think something different,
okay.
and then you may say, well, can you not add to my difference?
So are you justifying why men and women like would be
But
on opposition?
it's possible, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a struggle or competitiveness in that difference.
I think sometimes in that is that I think that we're driven to be that way because society has pressed us. That's what it is. So the divide is already there.
Yeah.
And I think we play into what society has put out, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. I think it's the norm because that's what the world expects.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily agree that we have to be on the opposing side.
Okay.
Because we are a team.
Sure.
We are a team. And it doesn't take away from my individualism and your individualism, but we need to, see that we are here for each other, to build each other. People have to understand unification in a relationship is power.
Yes.
When you're unified. So I don't have to be opposite, even though, we don't choose the correct battles sometimes because we choose, how they say pick your poison, and we gonna argue over something that's really minute.
Oh yeah,
because we have
definitely.
a difference of opinion.
Sure.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that we always have to be on the opposing side.
No, not at all. Again, as I said too, that I believe that we end up there because that's where society has more or less has done the voodoo of putting this in our mind. That's where we ought to be. Oh man, women, I don't need a man, I don't need a woman. Come on, man. Yeah, God said what? The man was alone and it wasn't good.
Right.
So God made him a woman.
Yeah.
Right. So, we're meant to thrive with each other.
Yeah.
That was God's creation, not to oppose each other and have the battles, but we're battling. That's it. Go ahead.
So, so we have to think, are there societal expectations that's creating unnecessary competition in relationships?
Right. Yeah, definitely. So, but now how do we shift from that?
Yeah.
The who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah.
How do we shift from that?
Yes.
And do it to where it's right for us.
Yes.
And each couple, or would have to decide that. You have to decide what's right for you, and that's what we have to do.
So we have to, let's talk about what we want to talk about now a little bit on solutions that heal us from that.
Okay.
And stop power struggling. Just get out of yourself.
Okay.
And know that your companion, your mate, is not your enemy, as we say.
Sure, right. And I guess one of the things in that we have to rethink, restructure, or reframe our ideas that the difference that God made in you. Remember, I started talking about differences well back. You got things that I don't have.
Yep.
And I got some things that you don't have.
That's good. I'm grateful for that.
That ought to be a strength. And I'm not just saying sexually or intimately. That ought to be a strength. God made you different than he made me. And so instead of us using that as a device for destruction or division, we ought to use it as a strength, to strengthen our relationship with each other.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And as you say, like reframe that gender difference as God designed strengths.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Yeah. Like I say, the strengths are we made differently and we just
and I'm glad.
use that. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I don't need him to have what I have.
Yeah. And I don't need to be carrying what you got. You carry it until I need it. Okay? All right.
Gotcha.
I might need it after this podcast.
Okay.
Go ahead. That's good. Go ahead.
All right.
Okay.
But then we communicate with compassion.
Sure. Yeah.
And not
definitely.
competition.
Right.
And
yeah, definitely compassion. Right. Definitely. I think that's good. Also, we have to learn to resolve our conflicts in a respectful manner. And that is so important in relationships is that how do we get past the disagreements or the conflict? I was listening to a couple today on the My Wifey, Dear Wifey podcast. And they were
And we
saying,
really enjoy that.
yeah, definitely we did. And the couple, it was the Greens, Travis Green, his wife, but they were saying they had one big argument a year.
Oh,
I
they
was like,
counted. Oh, that's interesting.
and that's all right. But I thought it was yeah, they had one big blowout a year, and but I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
And
So they
I don't say
result
cute.
cute. No,
You know, I don't even use the word cute, but I thought that was cute. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, but yeah, as you say, resolving conflicts respectfully.
Sure, it's respectful.
And giving that person the right to feel the way they feel and express the way they feel
Right.
without feeling that there's a tug of war of I woman, you man, and you can't have those feelings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't test that. I won't make you. Okay. All right. So, all right. One of the things too, we've got to stop fighting, per se, for control. Just that. It's that one up. I got you, and it keeps building. We gotta stop that. And if we fight, I don't like the word, but if we have a conflict, let's try to connect, even in the conflict. Let's let the goal be, let us always be connected. That let's don't divide. Let's always be connected, even in our disagreements. Right.
That's good. That's good. And most of the time, we are in a position of trying to understand or just want to say what each gender wishes the other truly understood. I mean, it's like, I really wish Charles will understand how I feel about this particular situation. And I'm sure on your side, you could say the same thing. So when we're in those situations, I don't know if we are looking at how we may look at it from the other person's point of view.
Okay.
And have some resolution with that. Just have some empathy. Have some thought about how I really wish he could see this.
What you wish I could see, though?
I'm using that as an example.
I want you to tell me. Don't you want to tell me? Hey, yeah.
I'm sure over these 40 years, there's been some things I really wish he could see.
Name one.
We ain't gonna air that out because
You're gonna
that's
talk
over,
to me behind the
and we
scenes.
resolve that respectfully.
Okay. You talk to me after this.
No, we communicated
behind
with
the scenes,
passion
and we'll
not
go here.
competition.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I got you.
but I mean, would you not agree that there's times?
Oh yeah. Definitely, right. Yeah, and yeah, we've gone through several things. So we want to go through some of the final reflections here, and we want to bring some call to action. Some action items that we can take in getting there and getting past or to be seduced to the battle of the sexist quote, environment. We want to get past that because again, I don't agree necessarily with it. We know it exists, and that's what we're sharing with you. And but some of the things here, again, we go through. We talk about. Again, we do have differences. Just know that we have differences. We're made up different, and we shouldn't use those differences as a way to divide us. It ought to be a way for us to come together because, again, we're on the same team.
Yeah, and we should understand and have the empathy with each other and not compete for control.
Right. And even with that too, and it's not competition. That we have to understand each other's makeup, which is important for us because I think with the divide that's going on now with men and women is because we don't have empathy and we don't understand each other's makeup.
So then it's not battles. that we put that in there, that the battle of the sexes. That sounds so, I guess, violent, you know?
Well, we say that because that's what's been so accepted over the decades, over the centuries to a degree. We have built on our differences and not on our similarities.
Yes, 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 yes. And that is where we fall short when it comes to being there for each other, because we ignore those same factors that you just mentioned, and we start honing on the stereotypes.
Sure, right.
So, our main thing, as we always emphasize in our podcast, is even with things such as this, battling that, conquering that, is first pray.
We've got
You have to pray about what you're going through. Pray for unity and understanding in relationships and marriage.
Right, definitely.
That's the only way you're going to get through that, and have some time to spend together to be able to appreciate what the other person is feeling.
Yes, right.
So hear each other out and communicate without being competitive. No one ain't got to be above the other when it comes to unification for each other. So there's a weekly thing that we would love for you all to try. We got a couple challenges that we've had in our podcast. I hope you all, but maybe look back on some of the other ones that we talked about. But this one in particular, just having the empathy, the sincere appreciation for one or the other, and understand what makes that person feel valued.
Okay.
Talk about that. What makes you feel valued?
What makes me feel valued?
From me.
Is, yeah, absolutely. No question. Right. It's when you see the things that I'm looking to do to make accomplishments, and to see the value in it, and even to see my zeal to get things done, and for the family, that makes me feel like, because I still yet have things to do, and I know we're working on. So yeah.
So
So, what about you?
um
What makes you feel that?
I would say, what makes me feel valued is when you see me. You see past the pain, because the pain maybe of things that I've dealt with. And when you really see the heart of me and understand that I may not see it the way you see it, and just have an understanding of maybe why, I have these trust issues, not with him, but with people or circumstances and things like that, and just see me past the surface of it. And I think we get there sometimes, and we have to work on more and more of seeing past the pain of what we go through, and respect each other for that, and forget about the stereotypes of what a woman can rule the world, or it's a man's world, or and come together prayerfully to understand our makeup as a marriage.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. One thing I do before we, do it, I always want to put some word out, as we talk or we share. And one of the things that I do, I would like to share is just looking at the makeup of man himself, and just kind of talk a little bit, because again, knowing God's intent. When God made Adam, again, he was for a purpose, It was to serve him.
Mm-hmm.
And we said when God looked at him and saw that he looked at all the animals and saw how they were engaging, and God saw that he was lonely, and God made him a help meet, someone suitable for him, and that was Eve, and she came out of Adam. The thing is just like with that, we need to understand God's purpose, and they too were to glorify God after he made them. So again, we talk about prayer. I don't want to just gloss over that. Some of these things, we have to pray to God that we are not the victims of the saying of the day and these things that have been going on for years. Let's look at God's purpose and make that the thing for our life, and not us battling or going at each other and figure that we're fulfilling the world's agenda, but we need to fulfill God's purpose instead of fulfilling the world's agenda. So one thing we want to talk a little more. We want to do a part 2 on this.
Yeah.
And we want to come back next week.
Yeah.
And we want to expel some myths concerning the battle of the sexes in this thing.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit today about some things here, but we want to just get you thinking about what's out there, and then we want to go at some of the things, and we want to talk about God's truth and all of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay.
We start off talking about the origination of this, what we are, where we are, the battle of the sexes.
Yeah.
So now what we want to make sure that you take away from this, and that is know that there's no battle, and understand where this came from, and then we can get past this.
Right.
So now we would like to take for next week, let's talk about some tips on bridging the gap and growing together.
Yes, right. Instead of us focusing on our differences, let's look at the things we have similar.
Absolutely.
I think we are more alike than what we think and what we've been told. Right. So from battle to balance, that's what we're talking about.
Yes, and having a real victory over all of this.
Sure.
Having a real victory by collaborating over competing.
Okay. In other words, we want to
keep it real with one another.
Keep it real with each other. That's the thing about it. And we again, like I said, we're more similar than we're different.
Yeah.
How can God take all of that out of Adam and she be just the total opposite? Come on, man.
Come on, woman.
Come on now. Think about it. Think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for tuning in on this week's Thursday's Dose.
Yes.
Stay tuned for next week for part 2 of our discussion of Battle of the Sexes. Is it battle or is it balance?
Is it collaboration or is it competition?
We'll see.
Right.
But I hope you got something out of this week to decipher where you are in your relationship.
Right. So, until next week.
Until next week.
Thursday's Dose. And we want to tell you now that we're working on our course. We're hoping to have it together, and we hope it to be have it marketable and for sale by Black Friday. That's what we're
stay
going
tuned for that.
And we're doing it for you, and we want to have things to help us, as well in marriage.
Yes.
And for longevity. This thing is for life.
It is.
All right. So, again, we appreciate you checking us out this weekend with Thursday's Dose. And we're going to say our prayers are for you. We love you. We encourage you. So, till next time, just keep it real with Charles and
Melendia.
Yep. All right. Be
Bye.
blessed, y'all. All right.
Just keeping it real.